mystery. Oh. Hi, boy. Well, today's the day, boy. It's gonna come in. I've heard mixed things about it, but I'm hopeful. I don't think it'll be perfect or the best thing ever, but I just want an enjoyable experience. Special delivery for Mr. Dudw. Oh, that's me! I'm coming! Hang on. Whoa. Careful, boy. Good boy. Okay, now I'm coming. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Have a good day. Ba-da-na-na. Okay, let's see how my new intro turned out. Hello and welcome to Dudw Productions. I'm your host, Dudw, and welcome to my show. Here we talk about media, from movies, to shows, to games, and the occasional book. Whether they be good, bad, just okay, or even a guilty pleasure, I'm here to talk about them with some poorly drawn animations to help me out. Are you ready? Well, grab your controller and press start because here we go! Not bad. Good for a first time. Anyway, today's review. That's what you click on the video for. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time, right next to the likes of Mario, Pikachu, Link, Pac-Man, and Steve. He starred in a lot of video games since the 90s, and has remained a beloved character. Sure, he hasn't had the best of times, but then again, every long-running franchise usually has a bad day. So lately, Sega celebrated Sonic's 25th anniversary with 2 games that were delayed to his 26th anniversary so they wouldn't be filled with bugs. These games being Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. Sonic even got to make an appearance in the awesome crossover known as LEGO Dimensions. But that's a story for another day. I haven't played Shadow the Hedgehog, I just needed a transition scene. Sonic Mania was a throwback to the classic Genesis titles, and was met with great reviews and a lot of promotion from Sega, while Forces was more for the fans of the 3D Sonic games. Yet, Sega seemed to be ashamed to advertise it for some reason, and even some fans were turned off by it. But I was personally looking forward to it, because it looked to be more like the adventure games, and I was hoping we could add it to the best of 2017. In case if you're wondering, yes, I have played Sonic Mania, and it is a good game, but I'm a total amateur at it. Which is funny because the first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Rush Adventure, which is a 2D game. Still, Sonic Mania is a good game. So now that Forces is out, will it land on the same level as Sonic's other successes, or should Sega have put more confidence into this entry? Now, for this review, I got footage from the PS4 version thanks to the PlayStation Capture feature. Except for the cutscenes, because apparently they blocked those, even though I'm going to be showing you levels from later in the game, so I don't really see why they did that. So, in order for me to explain certain things, you'll have to put up either with images online, or from some of the radio conversations that the characters have for me to explain things. But I have played the Nintendo Switch version, though I won't bring it up in the review because both versions are the same, except you can take the Switch version on the go. Though I have to say, the controller skins you get with the bonus edition are really cool. Anyway, let's get started! Dr. Eggman has finally taken over the world thanks to his new weapon, the mysterious enemy Infinite. With the help of classic villains Metal Sonic, Shadow, Chaos, and Zavok, they defeat Sonic and take him prisoner. Now Sonic's friends, led by Knuckles, have formed a resistance and recruited a rookie that is your custom character. Together they succeed in saving Sonic from the Death Egg, and start to take back the Earth from Eggman. Meanwhile, Tails runs into classic Sonic, who is brought to the modern dimension thanks to Infinite's new powers. So now classic Sonic is here to help fight against the Eggman Empire. Now personally, the story was something I was looking forward to. Sonic games used to have good stories. Not all of them, but a couple of times they had some interesting and engaging plots. As for this story, Well, I think it's an improvement over past Sonic stories, but it does have some problems that we'll go over later. Still, it is better than before. The game follows the traditional Sonic game formula of getting from point A to point B. You collect rings along the way to stay alive, and passing by a checkpoint will give you a place to start back if you die. That's the same from other Sonic games, but this time, you don't have extra lives, so collecting 100 rings won't give you an extra life. And if you get hit, you can't recollect your rings. Or at least you weren't able to. I'm guessing that a lot of people complained about getting hit and not getting your rings back, so Sega released a patch to fix it. Kinda like how people complained how in Lost World 100 rings wouldn't give you an extra life, but then they released a patch that fixed it. You can hold up as many rings as you can, unless if you're in normal mode. Yeah, there are two difficulty modes, normal and hard. In normal mode, you can only have 100 rings, and you only lose a little if you get hit. But I honestly just played on hard because I like a challenge, and this game is already really easy. Back to the gameplay, you have 4 different styles. With Modern Sonic, you can boost in 3D and 2D, grab wisps to boost, homing attack enemies, and stomp on the ground to break boxes. Classic Sonic is entirely in 2D, and can jump on enemies to kill them, and spin dash to get extra speed and go up ramps. He also has the drop dash from Sonic Mania where you hold the jump button after jumping and go into a spin dash. In his levels, you'll find capsules that will give you 10 rings, running shoes, a shield, or invincibility. Next is the custom character who's in 2D and 3D. The custom character can be created from one of 7 animals, each with different abilities and looks. You can change their outfit and give them different weapons called Wisp Bonds that you unlock as you play through the game. The Wisp Bonds are weapons that the custom character can use during the stages to fight enemies, and by collecting a wisp that matches the Wisp Bond you have in the level, you can pull off a special ability that can be used to find alternate paths. For example, the red Wisp Bond is a flamethrower, and when you get a red wisp in the level, you'll cause an explosion that'll give you some extra airtime. These weapons and different clothing options are unlocked by completing missions. They're very simple objectives, so you should be getting plenty of items as you progress through the game. Some missions happen daily and will increase your score count if you complete them. The custom character also has a grapple hook that they can use as a homing attack and grapple off of these floating orbs. He and Modern Sonic can also grind on rails, and Sonic can even boost on them. Finally, there's the tag team stages where Modern Sonic and your custom character team up. You can switch between who's in control by boosting or using your Whisper. At certain points of these stages, you'll have to double boost where you go really fast and have to knock into obstacles to increase your time boosting. You can also download Episode Shadow, which is a free DLC pack that comes with playable Shadow, the Sonic levels, and 3 new levels. Shadow plays like Modern Sonic, except he has a chain homing attack, where you can attack a chain of enemies in a row. In each stage, you get to the goal, which for Modern Sonic, the custom character, Shadow, and the tag team stages is represented by the Eggman symbol, which becomes the Sonic Resistance logo when you pass it. And for Classic Sonic, you pass by a sign with Eggman's face on it, and turn it into the sign that marks your turf. After clearing a stage, you're ranked on your performance based on how fast you cleared a stage, the rings you collected, and all of the points you earned. The lowest rank is C, and the highest is S. Clearing a stage with an S rank can give you some extra costume parts for your custom character. There are 5 red rings hidden in each level except for the bosses. Collecting enough of them will unlock extra levels. After collecting all of the red rings in the stage, you can replay the level and collect the number rings, where you collect them in the order from 5 to 1. After that, you can go back and collect the moon medals, which you have to collect them all at once in order to clear them or else they disappear. In some stages, you'll be put into a quick time event, where a green circle appears and you have to press it at the right time to progress. Depending on your timing, you'll get some extra points. These points can be put into leveling up your custom character and giving them higher honors, which are just there for show, I think, but it does give you extra reason to keep playing as different custom characters. And it's not just restricted to just levels where the custom character are playable, it can be leveled up by playing any level. Speaking of which, after you beat the game, you can make more custom characters, 15 being the max, so you can make more OCs to your heart's content. Sometimes on the map, you'll see an SOS appear in a previous level. When replaying the level, you'll have to play as a completely random custom character, summon a rental hero that's made for you in that stage, or play as the default character of that stage and rescue the person in trouble. If you die in this level or don't find the person in trouble, you'll fail the mission, and won't get any rewards. The rental hero is where the game will give you a custom character that you can switch to at any moment. But I've barely had any experience with it, so this footage is the best you're gonna get. Every once in a while, you'll come across a boss stage, where you learn their tactic, beat them, and get one step closer to retaking the world and bringing down the Eggman Empire. That's it for the gameplay, so let's go over what I liked about the game. Let's start with the gameplay. While there are some issues that I'll get into later, I had fun. When you're playing as Sonic and hitting high speeds, it feels great. And I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good at it. When I remember that the homing attack button is the same as the jump button, unlike in Unleashed where it's the same as the boost button. Why did they do that in that game, actually? And the custom character is fun to play as, too. There are so many different weapons that have different abilities and special powers that I try to use every one. Some of my favorites are the Lightning Wisp and the Lightspeed Dash, the Fire Wisp with its ability to burn everything in sight, and the Asteroid Wisp that summons minions of doom to kill the enemies and could give you a shield for protection and gliding. And thanks to how good the modern Sonic and the custom character are, the tag team levels are pretty cool and make fun levels to speed through. I enjoy how you can keep making more custom characters after you beat the game. There are just so many possibilities to create your own posse of Sonic fanfic characters. From cool red hedgehog to female bird agent, the possibilities are truly endless. I enjoy unlocking new parts and leveling up my character. Sure, leveling up doesn't do much, but it does feel like your character is moving up in the ranks of the Resistance and becoming a Sonic hero. Moving on from the gameplay, the music is great. Fist Bump is an awesome theme, and the music always stood out in the levels and helped set the mood for each moment. From the "Let's go guys" to the final stretch songs, it's all good. Hashtag Metal Sonic Stank Rave 64. And as I mentioned, I feel like the story is an improvement over the last few Sonic games. It feels serious, the characters feel like they're in the middle of a crisis, none of them are annoying, though I never found any Sonic character to be annoying, honestly. They're getting stuff done, and there's barely any joking around. It does feel like characters are explaining things at times, but I still like how the story is being taken more seriously this time. It's all adding up to be a really good Sonic game, but unfortunately, while the game has good parts, there's also some bad. Well, since we started with the gameplay in the last section, let's start with it here too. The levels are really short. Seriously, most of the levels feel like half of a completed level. Usually you can beat them in less than 2 or 3 minutes. I only had trouble with a few levels here and there, but other than that, every other level was really easy to get through. And because of that, even with 30 stages, not counting the easy bonus levels or the 3 shadow levels, the game is really short. And with how short the levels are, it can make going back and getting an S rank or collecting all of the rings and tokens a bit of a chore if you just want to unlock all the cool custom character pieces. The last level with Classic Sonic in particular is a pain. In fact, Classic Sonic didn't need to be in this game. We could have just focused on modern Sonic and the custom hero for this game because Classic just feels shoehorned in and like an excuse to go back to some of the earlier levels later in the game. Sure, his levels are fine, except for the last one, but I think that he feels like he's just there. Though, one good thing about going back to play stages is that there are alternate paths that you can take, either by keeping your eyes peeled or by having the right wisp on. While it does give extra reason to go back to the stages, it may not be enough for most players to come back to the game. And speaking of the settings, the game apparently believes that 99% of the world is Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, the Death Egg, which isn't even on Earth, but the game makes you think it is anyway, this always destroyed and on fire city. I wouldn't be surprised if that's its actual name. Come to always destroyed and on fire city, where we don't clean up the destroyed roads and are constantly under attack. Mystic Jungle, Metropolis, and Eggman's Mountain Fortress. Last time I checked, there were a lot more Sonic areas like Station Square, Spagonia, Lost Hex. Heck, what about Planet Wisp? The Wisps are here, but they don't explain why. I would have liked more areas to go to. SBO mentioned Seaside Hill at one point. Why can't we go there? It would be cool to have a level on the beach. In the Sonic Forces mobile app, Sky Sanctuary is a stage. Why don't we have levels there? There are plenty of other areas we could have gone to make the game feel longer and give us more time on the story. Actually, that leads into my next complaint. As I mentioned in my Hopes for Sonic Forces video, in the Park Avenue level, Sonic's friends are going on about how they're saving civilians and the rookie is helping save the day, but I don't really feel like I'm saving anyone. I just feel like I'm running around and blowing up enemies, and there are a lot of moments where characters are going on about what's happening where they are, and I'm wondering, why don't I get to see it? Why don't I get to be more involved with the other characters? Since I think it would have been cool if you could have had certain levels where you went on a mission with a different Sonic character. While I like that Sonic's friends are more involved here, they don't feel like they are really involved. And while in the gameplay, sometimes the controls feel a bit stiff, especially when boosting in 3D, and sometimes the jumping controls are a little hard to deal with, like this part of Metropolis. By the way, if you have a problem with the characters talking during levels, you can turn it off in the options. Since I'm at the story already, the game has a bit of false advertising. The game builds up the idea of you fighting some of Sonic's greatest foes, but you only get to fight 4 of them! So wait, you have a level where I'm trying to find Shadow in the city. I would have liked it if you could have run by or attacked these giant robots in this level, by the way. And instead of at least letting me fight the fake Shadow, you just have the real Shadow come in and beat him up? What? Oh, Chaos is here! You want to fight him? Well, too bad. Instead, Classic Sonic is going to come in and beat him just by hitting him on the head. Maybe that's why they gave him a boss fight in LEGO Dimensions. Honestly, of the 4 villains they brought together, the only one I felt had any justice put towards him was Zavok. Yeah, despite being the most boring of the villains, the fight had a good build-up, and the boss was actually kinda cool, even though the game beats him for you in the end. But of all the classic villains here, I thought Zavok was given the best treatment here. And so was Metal, though I wish there was more of a build-up to his fight. And while we're talking about villains, why don't we talk about Infinite? The conclusion to the game raises some questions about him, and so does the episode Shadow DLC. You'll be disappointed about why he's the way he is, and you'll be confused about his defeat. If you're wondering what I think about Infinite, well, he's the typical anime villain everyone expected him to be, and I kinda wish that the game could have tried to make his fights more difficult. Because this guy can sidestep away from Sonic when he's boosting at him, but he also leaves himself wide open to attacks. Still, he has more backstory than the Deadly Six, so I give them credit for that. And I feel like the game missed out on potentially making Infinite a past Sonic character, because Infinite is actually an original character here. I was expecting it to be revealed that he was Knack the Weasel the whole time. That would have been great fan service, but it's just a missed opportunity. In fact, if I had to describe all the negatives in one phrase, it would be missed potential. There's a lot here they could have done differently or better. The levels could have been longer and have more unique and interesting themes and concepts. The story could have had crazier twists and act more like the fanfiction story I was hoping for, and I would have hoped for more varied and interesting settings. When I think of the game overall, it has plenty of problems. The game is short, and there's a lot of missed opportunities, but I still had fun with this game. It was enjoyable to breeze through as modern Sonic and play as my own custom character. I enjoyed unlocking different costume parts and making different characters. I feel like that's the selling point of the game, making your own character. But even then, it's not as fun as making your own character in Smash Bros., so the replay value is very small here. Yeah, you can take different paths in the levels, but that's not enough. It has some fun moments and cool ideas, but also doesn't execute them as well as I would have hoped. I can see people saying that Mania is a better Sonic game, and that's fine since there was a lot more effort put into that game, but Forces is not the lowest point of the franchise. Though it's also not the best game of the year. That's Breath of the Wild. If you always wanted to make your own Sonic character and get put up with how short and kinda repetitive the game is, then you may find some enjoyment. You'll only know if you play the game, honestly. And the mixed reception this game got up till its release shows that. Still, I do hope that the next 3D Sonic game has more effort put into it, but that's a discussion for another day. And honestly, even with all of its problems, I still see Forces as an okay game. It doesn't feel like a proper anniversary title, but hopefully Sega will learn from their mistakes. Hopefully. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. This video is all my opinion, nothing is 100% true. Have a great day and hopefully I'll see you soon. And now if you'll excuse me, I have to give my dog his insulin. Dudw out!